Well, I was going to do an Elemental video, and still am, it's in the editing phase at the moment, but that's taking longer than I hoped, so let's switch gears and review Walt Disney Animation Studios' latest film, Wish. Funnily enough, this makes 2 years straight that I've attended an early screening for a film with the word Wish in the title. Going into this film, I felt like this was kinda sink or swim for Disney, to an extent. The MCU is tanking hard, and Disney Animation and Pixar are having problems with quality and the fallout of the not at all secret gay agenda, which, by the way, if you're curious, is not in this film even for a second, at least that I saw, unless you count Ariana DeBose herself. To me, if this film was bad, that was it. There was no recovery for Disney, regardless of how Pixar's offering this year was. Again, keep your eyes peeled for that video in the near future. When the first trailer came out, I was concerned. The visuals didn't look that good, and Disney's track record of using their stuff as propaganda machines had soured me. However, as more trailers and videos came out, the visuals grew on me and the story seemed actually decent, though I still went into the theater wondering what crap Disney was going to shove down my throat this time. Surprisingly, however, they didn't really seem to shove much of anything down my throat like they did with Pixar's Lightyear and their own Strange World from last year. Story-wise, I actually really enjoyed it. It's nice to have a proper villain again, and while King Magnifico isn't the greatest villain Disney has done, he's definitely up there on the evilometer when it comes to his actions. In fact, Wish gets to a point where it's easily one of the darkest Disney movies since The Princess and the Frog and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is appropriate since the film overall feels like a film from that era. At one point, the movie genuinely had me wondering if and how Aisha, the film's protagonist, would pull out a victory. Speaking of Aisha, her intentions in the film feel genuine and seem to actually have consequences, even if they do eventually end on a positive note. Unsurprisingly, she does continue the honestly overused trend of being quirky that started with Tangled. Unlike most Disney heroines, however, Aisha actually has a living mother and a deceased father, so she does at least have some unique qualities to her character. Her friends are heavily inspired by the dwarves from Snow White, but don't really have characters beyond those obvious referential traits. King Magnifico, while definitely a villain, seems to have at first done what he does with good intentions, but somewhere along the way lost sight of what he was doing and it became selfish. Honestly, Magnifico over the course of the film is a prime example of the statement, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Valentino the Goat Kid definitely has his funny moments, even when he isn't voiced by Disney's answer to John Ratzenberger. And Queen Amaya seems like she was the glue that kept Magnifico from going off the deep end before the events of the film. Earlier I mentioned that I was concerned that it looked bad in the trailers. However, seeing it uncompressed and in its final form, it's actually really good looking. The film's no Puss in Boots: The Last Wish or Spider-Verse, but for a company that hasn't even touched hybrid styles, this is a good first attempt, and I wouldn't be disappointed if another film had a similar or identical style. The watercolor/painterly styling actually works better than I was expecting it to, with some three-dimensional environments appearing two-dimensional, which helps that painterly style work. It almost evokes a sense of the old Disney 2D appearance at times. Speaking of old Disney, the film, being Disney's centennial animated film, contains quite a few references to past Disney films. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, being Disney's first animated film, gets more references than most, both in spoken dialogue, location designs, and character influence, which I mentioned before. I won't spoil any other Easter eggs, however. Those I think you should find for yourself. Also, stay for the credits. Nothing super impressive is there, but you get some neat visual fluff, an additional original song, plus a great story-appropriate post-credit clip. Oh, songs, right. This is a musical after all. The best song, hands down, no contest, is a song called At All Costs. It's an absolutely beautiful duet between Asha and King Magnifico that almost comes across as a lullaby. Even if you don't watch the movie, you should at least go check out that song. A close second, however, is the song Knowing What I Know Now, a great rallying song that really gets you pumped up for what comes next. This Is the Thanks I Get is a very upbeat and pop-style villain song, which sounds like a ridiculous idea, but it works really well for King Magnifico's character, and snags my third favorite slot. The film opens with the song Welcome to Rosas, a world introduction song in the same vein as Belle and the Family Madrigal. This Wish is the Chips Are Down song that ends on a high note, and the only song with a reprise later on. And finally, there's I'm a Star, which, no. Just no. All of the no. Musically, it's great. Visually, it's the song with the most spectacle. But as a Christian, this song is just so bad. If I ever do a longer review of this film, remind me to dive deeper into that and all of the other songs, for that matter, in more detail. In summary, has Wish put Disney back on track? Well, yes and no. This and Elemental are a good start. I still have some serious problems with this movie, both in story and resolution, but it's way better than frankly I expected it to be. I still say films like Moana and Encanto are better, but it's enough to have me at least interested in whatever they have planned for next year. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching to the end. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you have any of your own thoughts or questions about something, please leave a comment. Respectful discussion is welcome here. On that note, I'm going to go back to working on that elemental video now. God bless you all, and remember, Jesus loves you. Until next time, peace out, Finnegan Squad.